My name is Gaye Rosen and I joined in 1980. I was born and bred and developed 200 metres from the surf club and from the beach, and it was my play area during my developing years. There was also some overlap between some male members I was running with at the time and North Bondi Surf Club. These male members were able to persuade against some fairly stiff opposition and by a slight majority to allow women to join North Bondi Surf Club.
North Bondi?
Well, I was born 200 metres from the beach, and during my developing years the beach was my playground. There was also a common membership between the men that I was running with at the time in a running group and North Bondi Surf Club. These men pushed through by a slight majority the right for women to join the surf club. As a strong sports advocate for women in equality, it was a challenge I couldn't refuse. Given we were the first females to join, it was male, sports-oriented and beer drinking. To use the old favourite Australian term, it was a bloke's culture. Let's start with the welcoming ones. Charlie Matthews, who was a chief instructor, was very good in helping us understand and achieve the level of skill required so that we were able to pass our bronze on our first attempt. Kevin Joyce, who was my first patrol captain, always made me feel very well regarded as a member of his team. In terms of unwelcoming, well, in those days we had to do a belt swim. So on our first training belt swim, the men that came out and lined the veranda of the surf club, I think most of them were hoping we were going to fail. When we actually achieved our first belt swim successfully, they all turned around and went back into the club, I presume to have a beer. Well, my first patrol happened to be on a fairly wet and cold Christmas day, and a member of the public, about 2 hours into this, alerted us that somebody had collapsed on the promenade. Having got there, we found that he was unresponsive, and so Kevin and I immediately started CPR and continued till the paramedics arrived. Unfortunately, we were not successful, so needless to say, first patrol and first CPR made it a very memorable occasion. The other one that I think was important to me was after 3 years of being in Kevin's patrol, I was made a patrol captain myself, as was Jenny, and knowing now that the club had great trust in both our skills and our leadership was very rewarding. The sheer increase in numbers that we now have and the size of patrols is as a direct reflection of women now coming into the movement. At board level, within surf clubs and on the beaches, their contribution and the encouragement of people from a much broader age and ethnic mix means that today's surf club population reflects very strongly that of the typical Australian population. It gave me a love of volunteering, and it increased my confidence dramatically in my ability to provide on-water safety and also to provide emergency first aid. This has now moved on to be given to Woollahra Sailing Club, where for the last 15 years I've provided on-water safety and emergency first aid for their dinghies and skiffs racing both at world, national, state and club level. It also gave me the opportunity to work with the most inspiring people I've ever worked with, the injured veterans at the 2018 Invictus Games, particularly in the sports of sailing and wheelchair tennis.